So this right here is Apple's new iPad Pro for 2020. And I'm going to talk a little, wait a minute, before I do that, let's sanitize it. Can never be too careful, guys. Hello, and today I'm coming to you from our brand new location, a place that I'm calling the Self-Isolation Central Studio. Okay, so it's my spare room. Remember, don't be selfish, guys, and stay at home. Now today we are looking at what Apple is describing as your next computer, except it really isn't one. Yes, the new iPad Pro has been heralded again by Apple as being a proper laptop replacement, but in tablet form. It's just as sleek as it was before, but it's more powerful than ever and comes with something called a Magic Keyboard. That's a lot like this one right here, but with a trackpad. Now that doesn't launch until May, so we'll have to wait and see just how much functionality that trackpad has with the new iPad Pro in a few months. But until then, we can certainly go through the new iPad Pro for 2020. So this one here is the 12.9-inch LTE version with a cool terabyte of space. From a design perspective, this thing is as beautiful as it has ever been. It is all glass and metal with a sharp edge on the side that really feels good in the hand. Now this version is hefty, there's no denying that. But when it's this slim, it really doesn't matter. The screen too remains similar to last year's version. You get what Apple calls a liquid retina display with a whopping great resolution. It also rocks the ability to display at 120 Hz, which means prodding and swiping around the screen looks and feels amazing. It's super responsive too, which really comes in handy when using Apple's Pencil. This unit is the Pro unit, after all. Now Apple has given the new iPad some increased specs under the hood. This time it runs an A12Z processor with a neural engine bolted onto the side. That gives you an 8-core graphics processor all in all, and enough grunt to multitask multimedia apps and games side by side. That additional power also helps the camera module, of which Apple is quite excited about. The key difference physically between this model and the last one are the cameras around the back. This time you get what looks to be a 3-camera array that looks similar to the iPhone Pro, but in fact it hides 2 cameras and a LiDAR scanner. Fun fact, LiDAR is not a radar for fibbers, it uses light to measure distances, giving the new iPad Pro some really impressive AR capabilities. For right now, that's kind of solely used by furniture apps and games, but as the technology becomes more commonplace, expect to see it crop up in all sorts of places. Otherwise, you get a 12-megapixel wide camera and a 10-meg ultra-wide camera, but we don't expect many people will be looking to use this guy as their primary camera. It's just too big for that. Now pair the new iPad Pro with a smart keyboard like this one, as well as Apple's latest Pencil, and this thing really does start to come into its own. Obviously, artists and those who like taking digital notes will find it very useful indeed, but the keyboard has always been a matter of debate. Some people find it flimsy and unusable. And then there's people like me who have zero issues with it. It's the new Magic Keyboard with built-in trackpad that will really change people's minds. It promises the best of both worlds, but as I said before, we'll have to wait and see for that. So let's summarize and answer the big questions here. Is the new iPad Pro a proper laptop replacement? On portability, that's a huge yes. On battery life, ditto. On software, it's not quite up to the same functionality that full-blown Mac OS is, but last year's iPad OS fixed quite a few of those issues. If you don't use the iPad Pro for anything super specific, with a proprietary piece of your workplace's software, for example, then it will do 99% of what you need it to do. The last iPad Pro was almost certainly the best tablet on the market, and this one is no different. That we know. But is it the best laptop too? Only time and that new trackpad will tell. Check back here in May.